The best way I can describe it.
What's up, everybody? Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is a masterpiece. Yes, I'm on the bandwagon. I agree with just about everything that everyone has to say about Frankenstein. I loved just about everything. I couldn't really point to a single bad note in this movie. Everything just kind of worked for me. For those of you who don't know, Frankenstein, the movie follows is basically an adaptation of the Mary Shelley classic book Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. Now, as a literature teacher, I was very, very curious about how this would be done because it's been adapted so many times. I believe any iteration or translation of the source material to in either TV or movies is close to 1,000 different things. The most serious adaptation in recent times, I believe, was the one with Kenneth Branagh and Robert De Niro in the early 90s, back when a lot of these monster movies were basically given a Victorian age type of makeover. And that was very, very close to the source material, but had lots of issues that I didn't really like. But this one, wow. Everything from the cast to the pacing to the production design to the lighting to the music, everything just came together damn near perfectly. I think one of the things that I really enjoyed the most was the backstory for Victor Frankenstein, which you don't really get in the book. You've never really gotten in any of the other adaptations of Frankenstein. And I thought it was a really great way to kind of flesh out his character a little bit more, give him some depth, give him understand the motivation behind why he's trying to do what he's doing. And so you can kind of go on that journey with him, and also kind of at the end of the day, is like, no, I don't agree with why you're doing it, but I can understand where you're coming from, type of vibe. And that is basically the first hour and a half of this 2.5 hour movie. And what I really liked about it is that the pacing of it was just damn near perfect. Everything from the editing and how fast or not too slow things are, to the camera movement so it feels a little bit more dynamic, and the performances. Like the child actor who played young Dr. Frankenstein, wow, that kid just hooks you. Like you feel his frustration, you feel his pain when, spoilers, his mother dies giving birth to his brother William. You feel the pent up resentment and rage that he's feeling towards his father. It all just works. It works brilliantly. Even Christoph Waltz's addition, that's a huge change to the source material. And there were a lot of changes to the source material, including especially the backstory that I just mentioned. But you also have Christoph Waltz's character, who's basically the de facto benefactor, that kind of finances this entire project. You have how Elizabeth is to be married to his, Victor's brother William. In the source material, she is the fiance of Victor Frankenstein. Um, and there's just like really, really great moments between characters, specifically between Jacob Elordi's, who plays Frankenstein masterfully, by the way, and with the old blind man who is the actor. I can't remember his name, but he's the actor that played Professor Filch in the Harry Potter movies. And it's such an endearing uh, storyline between the two of them. That could have been a movie all by itself, just the two of them. But it's a nice little respite, because by the time we get to that point in the movie, it is now Frankenstein's creation that tells his side of the story of how everything happened, what happened to him after, him and Dr. Frankenstein separated. And you see his evolution and you see his growth as not even a person, as this being trying to understand his way in the world. The ending I thought was beautiful. I thought was poignant. I thought was sad and emotional. Everything just worked. Sometimes when you have a classic piece of literature like this and then they adapt it into a movie, always the part that it gets iffy is when they start making changes. And the adjustments and changes that are made, they just work to serve the story so well, because it's never going to be 100% true adaptation of the source material. But one of the things that I always advocate for is the essence of the story has to be within the movie or the TV series, and you have to add something to it, not just a direct translation. And this definitely added emotion, it added depth, added heart. And so I loved it from beginning to end. Anyways, what about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.